Yo, what is going on, guys? We are back today for another video, and it's finally that time of year, December. Now that every champion has come out this year, we can rank them, and we're going to be ranking these top 10 best champions to come out in 2022. But it's not going to be easy because this year, 2022, I think we've seen the best and highest quality of champion releases this year compared to any other year, which is crazy. I feel like Kabam really stepped it up. And I think that was also warranted and needed because if you think about it, the game is only getting older, right? So with these new champions, like they need to be serving a purpose and doing something specific or introducing new mechanics into the game to keep things really interesting. And we've certainly seen a lot of that. And so many of these champions are so meta relevant currently. I have a lot of them at rank 4 already, Sig 200. I've invested all of my resources into some of these champions that have come out this year, and they're just so good. It is crazy. So, saying all that, it's going to make it very difficult, especially when we're starting out here around the 10, 9, 8 spots. It's really hard to choose who I wanted to put around there. Once we get to like the top 5, I'm like really confident in that. But it's a little what's the right word? Not congested, but like it could go either way. It could be so interchangeable, a lot of these rankings, depending on who you ask. And of course, this is my opinion based off my experience this year with all of these new champions, testing some of them early, getting some of them early, getting some of them late, going super hard hunting for some of them, finally getting them, ranking them, playing them. Some I haven't played a ton. So this is from my perspective. All right, now let's go ahead and jump into the number 10 spot. And that is actually Spot himself. So Spot is coming in at the number 10 spot as the 10th best champion released in 2022. Now this one was really tough. There could have been some other champs for this spot. It was a bit of a toss-up, but I ended up giving it to Spot because, first of all, he's so cool. He is so cool. The animations on this guy are just crazy. But I think Spot really has a lot of potential. And he's one of the very few champions that I do not currently have as a 6-star. As you see, I am missing Spot, which is very unfortunate. I'm really looking forward to getting him. If I had him right now, or if I pulled him like when he first came out, I would have already taken him to rank 4. I think he is that powerful, especially as a defender. I think he is a really good defender for Battlegrounds, but also as an attacker. His playstyle is a little unique, but once you get it going, the damage is just nuts. And yeah, I've seen some pretty crazy things. His main, he applies ruptures, which technically I think only Scorpion is immune to. So yeah, it's a very good debuff to be applying. 99.9% of the game is not immune to it. And he's so cool. I really like Spot. I really want to see more out of him. I really want to get him and try him out for myself. Like I said, this was tough. There could have been some other champions that went into this number 10 spot, but Spot ended up taking this spot. So yeah. Now let's go ahead and jump to the number 9 spot. This is where things get interesting and take a bit of a turn. Let's go back here to 2022. So coming in at the number 9 spot, we have the champion that has just come out, and that is Mantis. So Mantis, brand new, right? Brand new. So of course, I don't have her either. One of the few champs that I do not currently have, which is totally fine because, like I said, she just came out. But honestly, she is definitely at the top of my list now of champions of my most wanted champions to pull. Her and Spot both at the top of that list right now of newer champs. Some other champs as well, but we'll talk about them as the list progresses. But yeah, Mantis just looks absolutely incredible. It is very early on Mantis. Like I said, she did just come out, but from what I've seen, from what I've played, it's very easy, and the damage that you get out is insane. So you got guaranteed crits on her special too. You can really manipulate the opponent with their emotions, with the intimidate and infuriate, which is very powerful to manipulate the AI both ways. We haven't seen a champion that can do it both ways yet. We've seen champions with infuriate, we've seen champions with intimidate, but now the champion that has both is very, very interesting. She's basically like she is an oscillate node, but you control it. It's so unique, and I think that's what I really love about Mantis. Plus, her special one has some nice utility to get rid of debuffs, even the recoil masteries, or just get cleanses to prevent future debuffs. But she just seems very simple, very easy access to really crazy damage, and she's introducing a brand new mechanic into the game, which is sleep, which is different than stun. So if a champion is stun immune, that doesn't mean that they're sleep immune. It's totally different, which is really cool. Mantis, just again, one of the most unique champs in MCOC, and yeah, I really am hoping to pull her. She looks really sick. I think she will be in the next featured. I actually don't know. I'm gonna have to check. And she also has Tranquilize, which is a brand new effect. It's basically the science, or not the science, but the reverse of Neutralize. Whereas Neutralize neutralizes buffs, Tranquilize prevents debuffs, which is super weird, super weird. But yeah, Mantis, she's pretty cool. She is pretty cool. So she makes it at the number 9 spot. It's very early, so I think that says a lot that she even made it onto the list. Now we get to the number 8 spot, and I think that is one of the most overhyped champions that have come out this year. And that is infamous Iron Man, also known as Iron Doom. Now, why do I say one of the most overrated champions that have come out this year? That's not to say he's bad by any means. He makes it as the number 8 best champion release this year. And like I said, this has been one of the best years for champion releases ever. So that's still pretty high praise. The problem is that just he's the prestige god, right? He has the highest prestige in the game. That's what he really has going for him. And so because he's the highest prestige in the game, you're going to see him at rank 4, SIG 200, very common. That's going to be one of the most common rank 4s going forward in the next year because of prestige. And, once he is available in the basic pool and the next featured, everyone's going to be trying to get him and rank 4 him and 200 him. Myself included. Myself absolutely included. I'm holding 2 of his Nexus crystals right now just to try to get this guy. But I think because he has the highest prestige, that's just made him a little bit overrated because he's also a Dr. Doom, I think Mystic Doom is 100% way better than this guy. Not even close. Like, when I think of Mystic Doom, I think of just godlike attacker, godlike defender. I think of this guy, I think solid attacker, not a horrible defender, like very, very different. But they do have some similar stuff. He's cool. He doesn't crit, which is interesting. One of the best bishop counters. He was made to counter bishop. Very, very good. That bishop finally has a class disadvantage full counter. Well, I mean, I guess Ghost was one too. Never mind. But like, it's nice that the bishop just has like a really cemented hard counter. It's cool because bishop's one of the most unique mutants in the fact that like Nimrod melts every mutant except bishop. It's just kind of weird that it worked that way. And again, I also do not have this champion. Like I said, I'm holding Tech Abyss Nexus crystals to hopefully get him, and then once I do, I will rank for him and 600 him eventually. Yeah, he is coming in as the number 8 best champion released in 2022, in my opinion. Now let's go ahead and jump to the number 7 best champion released in 2022, and that is a champion that has really been growing on me lately and surprising me, and that is this lady right here, Valkyrie, one of my most recent additions to my rank 4s. I think Valkyrie is really, really cool, and what I think my favorite thing about her is that she is just undisputably the best unstoppable counter in the entire game. Especially, well, the only caveat to that is at Sig 200. At Sig 200, all you need is basically 10 hits, and you become the best unstoppable counter in the game. Doesn't matter if you have classic advantage, natural or otherwise. Doesn't matter. Just the best unstoppable counter in the game, which I think is just a really solid thing on Valkyrie's resume that no one else can take away. You know, being the absolute best at something that forever cements a place for you in MCOC, right? So I really like that. And just that fact alone, I really like that about Valkyrie. Plus, again, at 6200, really easy access to stun immunity as well. And just incredible damage through the block. Very unique playstyle, similar to Massacre. But I think I much prefer Valkyrie to Massacre personally. I think she is a much better champion overall. Again, just with all the utility she has. Again, with that unstoppable counter mainly. And yeah, I've just really been going on Valkyrie. I went deep into Abyss for the first time in ages to fight Massacre in Abyss, and she just destroyed him in the first set of Abyss charges too. Just an incredible fight. I recently uploaded some gameplay on Valkyrie. I highly suggest you guys check it out. Got a lot of really good fights. You'll see why I think she's the 7th best champ released this year, if not higher. I was debating putting her one higher, but I decided not to. She's really been growing on me, but I feel like that'd be a little biased if I put her any higher. But I think she does belong here in the number 7 spot. And like I said, I did recently take her to rank 4, signature level 200. I have absolutely no regrets, and I am extremely happy with this rank up. And she's been putting in work in lots of areas of the game, mainly battlegrounds, which is my main focus. So yeah, it's perfect. Now we move on to the 6th best champion in MCOC, and this one's an interesting one. This is the first ever champion to be added to the game that almost was voted in, but was a runner-up and then added, and that is Omega Sentinel. Now, the reason I say that is because the champions that are voted into MCOC are a different breed of champion. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you look at Quicksilver and you look at Hercules and you just compare them to the rest of the champions in their class, to compare them to the 90% of the rest of their class, they just have so much more love and just really, really good and strong abilities baked into their kit. And the reason for that is because we voted for them. So they need to make this champion do a lot and be really good, basically, right? Because we voted for them. We can't have the Summoner Choice champion being a flop. You know, it's got to be really exciting. It's got to be a really good champion. So they just get more TLC, tender love and care. More TLC is given to these champions. And Omega Sentinel is the first one that is, you know, weird in the fact that she was almost voted for, but technically she's still a regular champion. But it still seems like there's some more TLC in her kit. She has so much in her kit. It's honestly absurd what Omega Sentinel can do. She has access to 3 different types of debuffs, all giving her a different piece of utility. One is Heal Block, to obviously counter all healing. One is Cowardice, to really help her fight any mutants, or prowess gaining. And then she also has a Tracking debuff, which was, I think she was the first champion to introduce this into the game, which allows her to counter Miss, which is cool. A lot more Miss champions coming out lately. And just seeing Miss more. She's also immune to Nullify, which is one of my favorite abilities in the entire game. To be immune to Nullify, that's huge. And she's just such an incredible mutant slayer, second to only Nimrod. So yeah, I think Omega Sentinel, not everyone likes her playstyle. I really do. I think she's incredible. Again, also really worth the Sig 200 investment, because if you take her to Sig 200, you're able to retain your armor buffs a lot more easily, and basically indefinitely. And with those armors, you become so tanky. Plus, you get energy resistance. It is crazy. She's also a robot, but she's not immune to bleed and poison. She takes no damage from them, but she actually gets regen buffs when those debuffs get applied, which can be useful in some areas, but can also be detrimental in other areas. For example, if you're fighting Mortal Abomination, you're still going to get the poisons on you, and then if you get to 10, you're going to get acid burned, and she's not immune to that. So there's pros and cons. But yeah, I do think Omega Sentinel deserves number 6 top best champs release this year. When she came out, I really thought she was going to make top 5, so that really goes to show just the level of champions we've been getting this year, that she didn't make top 5. But yeah, as you guys can see, again, another one of these champions that I do have at rank 4, signature level 200, the highest level of power in the game. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Now we're top 5, boys. Top 5 best champions released 2022. Now this is where we get to the cream of the crop, the best of the best champions that have been released this year. And this one is if you told this to me when the champion came out, that it'd only be number 5, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But that is Quicksilver. Now, my relationship with Quicksilver is an interesting one. I wanted this guy in MCOC. I was on the Quicksilver hype train to vote for him. He won the vote. I was so excited. I spent over $1,000 in his calves trying to get him. Even more than that, I think. The most I've ever spent ever on a champion. Didn't get him. Opened over like 40 featured crystals. Didn't get him. Just cannot pull him. When he first came out, I really thought he was the best science champion in the entire game. Now, the reason I thought that is because he has more utility than just about any other champion in the game. Nah, any other science champion in the game, for sure. He has more utility than any other science champion in the game. Undisputed. For that reason alone, that was why I thought he was going to be... That's why I thought he was the best science champion in the game, and why I thought maybe he could be the best champion to come out this year, when he first came out. Since he's come out, one very interesting thing about Quicksilver is that he's actually much slower than the average champion when it comes to combo speed. So for Quicksilver to perform an average 5-hit combo, medium, light, medium, which for him is like a 13-hit combo, but to perform that action of just doing one full combo takes about 2 times as long as it does an average champion to just deal a regular 5-hit combo. Again, just medium, light, medium. 5 inputs. You're still doing 5 inputs with Quicksilver, it's just more hits. But that takes double the amount of time. So the fastest champion in the game actually has the slowest combo in the game, which is a little counterintuitive to the character design, but it slows him down, which is unfortunate. I do think Quicksilver has so much potential. I think he really just needs the right content to shine in, which I think is the next level of Abyss, whatever that may be, the next Everest content. Once we see that, I think that's where Quicksilver is really going to shine. He needs millions of health pools to see those 2 million damage detonations to make the build up really worthwhile and cement himself in the contest. That's what he needs, I think. I think that'll really bring Quicksilver up. But until he really has that content to shine, right now he's honestly been more of a defender than an attacker from what I've really seen, which is interesting just because of how fast and jarring his combos are. I definitely suck at fighting Quicksilver. I died to him in the last war. Although the champion I was using was technically bugged, so it's a whole thing. But yeah, very jarring to fight. Just crazy combos. So that's what I really like about Quicksilver, though. Good on offense, and he actually has defensive potential. And I thought it was going to be the complete opposite. When he first came out, I thought he was going to have all his offensive potential, and I thought he was going to be a garbage defender. But that's not the case. He is a very good defender. And yeah, but I definitely don't think he is the best science champion anymore. I think that title is held by someone else a little bit higher on this list, and also not the best champion to be released this year. He's coming into that number 5 spot. But yeah, that's Quicksilver coming into the number 5 spot. So like I said, don't have him. I have tried pretty much my hardest to get him, and just no luck. So it's kind of like a love-hate relationship because I can't get him. It's very frustrating. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the number 4 spot on this list. And that is another champion that a love-hate relationship with, and that is the cow. So, Rintrah. Now, I probably have hated Rintrah more than any other champion released this year. And I don't know why that is. I don't know. When Rintrah came out, I tested him and Wong, and I really much preferred playing around with Wong. But as time went on, we really saw Rintrah start dominating. I never pulled him, so I wasn't really a part of that. But I just saw in my alliance, Karate Mike took him to rank 4, and then within like the next 2 weeks, I want to say like another 5 to 10 people took their Rintrah to rank 4. Like, it was just a surge of rank 4 cows and just so much gameplay of him dominating. And that's what he has been doing. Rintrah has been just dominating in so many different areas of the game. I think he is the best neutralized champ in the game all around. I think Tiger can be superior, especially in the right hands. But I think Rintrah is a lot easier, very much more noob-friendly to use. And on top of everything that Rintrah has going for him, he is an absolute literal animal on defense. This dude is so chunky. He has a massive health pool, which makes him just insane for battlegrounds specifically. Plus a Mystic champ, so he benefits from Mystic Dispersion as well. And yeah, Rintrah is just, man, he is so good. I was debating putting him higher on the list. It's just the other champions I think personally are better. But I do think Rintrah is just an absolute beast. One of just a very hard counter to the Cosmic class. He can have 100% uptime on neutralize against Cosmic champs, like, for the whole fight. Like, it's so much fun fighting Gallon, one of the best Cosmic defenders. With Rintrah, it's a joke. He just does not gain buffs. It's so much fun. And when that special 2 crits, oh my god, when it does crit and when you actually build up some ruptures, it is just one of the most satisfying specials in the entire game. I remember I was fighting a Gallon Battlegrounds. I uploaded it to the channel. 2 of my favorite counters to Gallon, which was Blade and Rintrah. And Rintrah hit like 170k special 2. Just, oh, so satisfying. But yeah, I really hated this guy for a long time because I didn't have him. I just never was able to pull him, and I just despised fighting him. But then I finally pulled him on Cyber Weekend from just one Mystic Abyss Nexus Crystal. He was like the second to last champ to pop out. So happy to see him. Got him. Took him up to rank 4 on stream, which is something I probably would not have done if I was not streaming and if it was not voted for. But I did it, and I have been so happy with the rank up. Originally, it was going to be just a purely defensive rank up, but I've been using him on attack when I kind of need to, like I said, against these Cosmic champs. And I really see the power of the cow now. I think Rintrah is absolutely incredible. I think he is easily the second best Mystic champion in MCOC currently. I think Doom number 1, Rintrah number 2. I think of Rintrah. I kind of think of Rintrah as like the new Doom. I actually just thought of this right now. But Rintrah, man, he's kind of like the new Doctor Doom. He's like the Doom of today. He's like the modern day Doom. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you know, Doom in his prime, Neutralize did not exist. So there was no Neutralize, you know. But now Neutralize is the new wave, and Rintrah is surfing that wave. I just think of, you know, when I think of Doctor Doom, I think of incredible attacker, incredible defender, top of the Mystic class. When I think of Rintrah, incredible attacker, incredible defender, top of the Mystic class. Just with Neutralize. Yeah, I really highly rate Rintrah. But only number 4. Only number 4. Now, coming in at number 3, the third best champion released in 2022. This where it gets a little tough. It gets very tough. But I think that champion is Scorpion. Now, like I said before, when Quicksilver came out, I was under the impression that he was going to be the best science champ in the game. And it was just because of how much utility he had. That was the main reason. And, I mean, he has insane damage, too. So both those things combined, it's a pretty incredible champion. And I always thought Scorpion was good, but I never had him. So like I didn't really know how good, right? Then I get Scorpion finally after chasing him and chasing him and chasing him and chasing him and trying and trying and trying. I finally get lucky on my birthday. On my birthday, I get the birthday luck. Whoops. And we pull this guy out of a Science Nexus crystal on stream. I was so stoked. I was so stoked. On my 23rd birthday, I took him to Sig 23. And originally, I just took him to rank 3. And I played with him a bit, and I was like, yeah, you know, it's good. But then I took him to rank 4. And once I took Scorpion to rank 4, it just kind of, basically, I'm at a stage in the game where I don't enjoy playing rank 3s. Like, playing rank 3s is dull and boring to me. I want to be playing champions at their highest level, right? So, like, I'm basically only playing my rank 4s these days. So I didn't really play Scorpion much as rank 3. But once I took him to rank 4, I started playing him more, started drafting him a lot more in Battlegrounds, and just every time I've used him, he's just surpassed how good I thought he was going to do. And I end up just finishing most fights with like full health or really high health. Even though I took some damage or block damage or chip damage or some kind of damage throughout the fight, I've just managed to heal it back. And that's through the Sig ability. And again, he's only Sig 23. He does not need high Sig. And it's just, he's so good. Scorpion is so good. Even in metas where I thought he wasn't going to be good. In metas where you get punished for, you know, having a lot of debuffs, he still can do it. He still does good. It's just crazy, man. It's honestly crazy to me how good Scorpion is. And on top of everything, the thing that I think really puts Scorpion here as the third best champion release this year is because he brought, again, another brand new type of mechanic into the game, which again is what Kabam has been doing with these new champions to keep it really interesting and to give them a new place and for us to want to chase them. And that is selectable immunities. Now, there's some other champions that have selectable immunities, like Clairvoyant, for example. But the thing about Clairvoyant is you can change it in the fight, right? You know, Scorpion, he can't change his immunities mid-fight. With Claire, you can. But there's advantages and disadvantages to that. What I really don't like about Claire is that you can't pick, like, when you start the fight. So, for example, if you go in and fight a Human Torch with Claire, obviously, like, you're going to take so much damage before you can get to being Incinerate immune. But with Scorpion, you know, you pick that before you go into the fight. You pick your immunities, but you also pick what kind of damage you're dealing. So this just allows him to cover a multitude of different types of matchups because he can just change it. You know, you're fighting, who you're fighting. Let's say you're fighting an Immortal Abomination. Okay. Well, Scorpion usually applies poisons, and he's immune to shock and rupture. But you're fighting an Immortal Abomination. He's going to be trying to poison you, and he's going to be taking no damage from poisons. Okay, so boom. Select pre-fight, boom. Now you got shocks. So now my damage are shocks. Immortal Abomination is not immune to shocks. And now because I've chosen shocks, my immunities shift to poison and rupture. So now I'm fully immune to Immortal Abomination's poisons, and I'm applying a debuff that he can take damage from. And that's just one example. There's hundreds of those examples in game where Scorpion can do that. He can just shift how his abilities work and totally work for fights that, you know, most champions are just restricted by. And that is incredible. And that reason alone is what made me want him so bad, just because I think of him as like a Swiss Army knife. Again, especially for Battlegrounds. So Scorpion, and I really didn't see all this until I took him to rank 4. Now that I took him to rank 4, like I really see it. And it is incredible. I really do think Scorpion, the best Science Champion released this year, and the best Science Champion in the game. Yeah, I think Quicksilver has more utility and a higher damage potential without synergies. But Scorpion is just so realistic, reliable, and he's just so good for short, medium to short fights and long fights too. So yeah, just you cannot go wrong with Scorpion. Low Sig is perfect for him too. So yeah, Scorpion makes it as the number 3 best champion released in 2022. And now we get to the top 2, and here's where it gets just ridiculously tough. It's tough, but it goes to Hulkling for me. Now, we all know the top 2 is going to be Gallon and Hulkling. We all know that. But why am I picking Hulkling first? Well, I made an entire video dedicated to this subject of Gallon versus Hulkling. So if you want to really in depth, you can go watch that. But the reason I put Hulkling as second best champ released is it comes down to utility once again. The way I see it, it comes down to 2 things. It comes down to their damage sources, which Hulkling block damage, Furies, raw damage, crits don't really matter, hit super hard, hit those Furies. Gallon, it's, you build the harvest, then you unload the harvest on them, and it just does an absurd amount of damage, direct damage, all at once, and that's fairly unavoidable. Whereas, Hulkling's damage is very easily avoidable by any kind of damage caps or anything like that. But so that's really the main thing. Their damage sources. And then they're very similar in their immunities, their power immunities. They do have a slight difference. I think it's Gallon can be power steeled, which makes Dr. Doom a viable counter for him. And Hulkling can be special locked. And I think there's something else. But yeah, those are the main ones. So Gallon has special lock immunity, which is actually really nice because a lot of new champions and just nodes are introducing that type of effect. So I think Gallon has the slight upper hand on the power immunities. But the real immunity comparison between the two comes down to Hulkling has shock and poison immunity, which originally I thought was more valuable because that's immunity to just straight 2 debuffs, Again, you fight an Immortal Abomination, you don't got to worry with Hulkling. You fight someone who's going to be applying shocks, you're fine. You don't got to worry. But Gallon has a different kind of immunity, and again, that is the Nullify immunity that I mentioned earlier when talking about Omega Sentinel. I think that is one of the strongest and one of my favorite immunities in the entire game for a really good champion to have. And what makes this tenfold is the fact that Gallon is a cosmic champion. A cosmic champion. To have that ability. That is something totally different. So that's what it really comes down to for me between Gallon and Hulkling. Which one gets number 1, which one gets number 2. It's so close. I think these two are just undisputably the 2 best champions released this year. I think both are just so good. I've had both of them at rank 4 for quite a while. I knew right when testing Hulkling, like as soon as he came out, I knew I wanted him. I knew he was going to be really good, and I could just tell that like this guy is so meta relevant. I love it, and I knew I had to get him. As soon as that feature came out, I went hard, got him, took him right to rank 4. Absolute beast. And Gallon. Gallon, I tried my hardest to get Quicksilver. Could not get him, but we did get a Gallon. We pulled 1 Gallon. Spending my most I've ever spent on calves. Only pulled 1 Gallon. But that was enough. Now he is Sig 200, but Sig 120, he's good to go. And yeah, Gallon, just incredible. I've had both together rank 4 for a while. My biggest MVPs in Battlegrounds, in War, used them both. Gallon a lot more recently. Never died with Gallon in War. I don't think I've died with Hulkling either. Both are just absolutely incredible. But again, for me, it really comes down to those immunities. Now, the reason just Gallon slightly edges it out for me over Hulkling is because Gallon can just take really unique matchups. Really unique matchups, especially for a cosmic champion. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean he's able to fight mystics. That is when a champion can go outside of their class to fight their class disadvantage and still perform, like, that is extremely impressive to me. And Gallon can do that. Not against every Mystic champ. You're not going to want to bring him against, like, Mephisto. I mean, maybe that could be okay. I don't know. But that doesn't sound like a really good matchup. But, for example, Man-Thing. Gallon is a perfect Man-Thing counter. Since Gallon is immune to Nullify, Man-Thing's postules will never be nullified. Therefore, he will never be poisoned or armor broken. So just a very solid counter to Man-Thing. Recently, I took an Ebony Maw with Gallon. Finished the fight, full yellow bar, super quick, like 40-some seconds. Crazy. Because, Ebony Maw, usually when you fight him, he applies a Fury buff to you with his special one. And then with his next special one, he nullifies it, degens you, builds a mission. But against Gallon, immune. He can't nullify that buff. It's just, that ability is so insane. Nullify immunity. It is so insane, and especially on a Cosmic Champion. And especially a Cosmic Champion of Gallon's caliber. Immunity to Fate Seal and Nullify. Just insane. He still can be staggered, again, which makes him doomable. Doom's a really, really solid counter to Gallon. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it. Again, if you want really a lot more in depth, really breaking down between the two, I have a video dedicated to that, Gallon versus Hulkling. But guys, that is gonna do it for the top 10 best champions released in 2022. A lot of champions didn't quite make the list, like Wiccan, Titania, the new Spider-Man, Black Cat, all these champions that are really good, but they just didn't quite make the list. Captain America, Sam Wilson as well. I think he's really good. But it's tough, man. 2022, just a year of bangers. So many amazing champions. That's going to do it for my top 10 list. I think I'm also going to make a top 5 worst champions released this year. But again, like, that's going to be hard to make too, because there wasn't that many duds this year. There's a few though. I can definitely come to mind when I think of the top 5 worst that come out this year. Some definitely do come to mind. But yeah, guys, I think that is going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you agree with this list. If you disagree, what would you change? What would you swap out? Especially like the top 5. I feel like Gallon, Hulkling, Scorpion, and Rintrah, I think those 4 are just undisputed top 5 release champs this year. Like, I don't think anyone can dispute that. Just Rintrah, by far the best Mystic champ released this year. Scorpion, the best Science champ released this year. And Gallon, Hulkling, the best Cosmic champs released this year. And I just don't think there's any arguing that. I have all 4 of them at rank 4. And just from personal experience, I can tell you they are some of the most powerful champions in the entire game that I've ever played. And it's crazy. And if you guys watch my Battleground streams, I'm sure you see that too. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Really interested to read the comments on this one, see if you guys agree. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want some more content. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.